Hello, my RPG friends. Today we're going to talk about feats, recommended feats for Wrath of the Righteous, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you do, give a like. So, starting off with general combat feats. Normally, you want weapon focus. Since it gives you a +1 on attack roll, you can get it pretty early, as soon as you have a +1 BAB, and it's also a prerequisite to many other feats. Improved critical is a very good feat since it doubles your crit range. So if you have like a weapon that crits on a 20, it now crits on a 19 or 20. And evidently this is even better on an 18 to 20 weapon like a rapier or a scimitar, since now you can crit on a 15 to a 20. Lastly, for general combat feats, I highly recommend power attacks or piranha strike because of the mythic, since it basically increases your damage by a lot for every -1 penalty you take to attack, and with the mythic power attack you can do up to +5 damage for every -1 to attack on a two-handed weapon or a primary natural weapon. So this makes power attack eventually a bit better than piranha strike, since piranha strike is also limited to certain types of weapons that are usable with weapon finesse. So overall, even if you're a Dex-based character, normally you want power attack. Talking about Dex-based characters, what you do want is weapon finesse, so you can get dexterity to attack. So that works with basically light weapons. And you also want dex to damage. One of the ways to get dex to damage is either by slashing grace or fencing grace, where you use certain types of light or one-handed finessable slashing weapons, and fencing with piercing weapons. This does require a free hand in your offhand, so it's not good for dual wielders. Dual wielders will normally want to dip 3 levels in rogue and get finesse training, so then you can have dex to damage on both weapons without needing fencing grace or slashing grace. And eventually, you can also try the weapon finesse mythic, which does also give you dexterity modifier instead of strength modifier on damage rolls. So that also works for dual wielders, in case you don't want to dip 3 levels in rogue. And there's also the added bonus that if you do invest levels in fighter and you invest in a weapon training group, you can eventually finesse any weapon in the game. So that includes polearms and any huge big ass weapon, as long as it's in a weapon group that you have fighters finesse, and you get the weapon finesse mythic. For ranged feats, I recommend point blank shot and precise shot. These are like the obligatory feats, since you don't want to take -4 penalty to attack rolls every time there's an ally near the enemy. And deadly aim also works like power attack. You get bonuses to damage, and with the mythic you get even more bonuses. And lastly, rapid shot gives you 1 extra attack at the cost of -2 penalty to all attack rolls, and many shot is 1 extra attack on the first attack with a bow that hits. So this is also very good. For dual wielders, you want to weapon fighting to reduce your penalty to attack rolls by a lot, basically. So eventually they become -2, as long as your offhand is light. And improved to weapon fighting and graded to weapon fighting gives you more attacks at the cost of higher penalties. Some people like to avoid graded to weapon fighting because -2 penalty can be very hard to hit in harder difficulties. And to further reduce the penalties, so you can eventually have no penalty at all, you get the mythic to weapon fighting. Double slice can be useful since your offhand will do only half modifier damage, so double slice makes it full damage. For intimidators, you want some kind of way to have action economy with your intimidate check. So ways to do this are Cornigan's Mash. You get an intimidate check with your power attack hit, and Dreadful Carnage. As soon as you kill an enemy, you get a free precision check to intimidate enemies around you. Dazzling Display can also be done, but it takes a full round. But with Dazzling Display Mythic, you can eventually make it as a move or swift action with much higher penalty. Of course, these penalties can be mitigated by numerous ways in which you can get bonuses to your persuasion skill when intimidating. So one of these is intimidating prowess. You get your strength modifier to persuasion skill. You can also get skill focused persuasion, and there are many other ways including class abilities and familiars and racial modifiers to get more bonuses to intimidate. For magic feats, highly recommend spell penetration and greater spell pen, because demons have high spell resistances. So, and with spell penetration mythic, if you do want more additional spell penetration, you can go for that if you want. And spell focus, obviously, to improve the difficulty class of the saving throws the enemies have to resist. And spell focus mythic eventually doubles the bonuses, and you can also use expanded arsenal to invest in another magic school without needing to buy more feats. So lastly, for teamwork feats, I recommend outflank. As soon as an ally crits, your other ally will get a free attack, and that free attack can also crit, leading to more attacks and so on. So it's a beautiful teamwork feat. As well, you know, Shake It Off can be useful, up to +4 saving throws, and allied spellcaster as well for more spell penetration. So if you enjoyed this video, please give a thumbs up, and hope to do more. Take care.